is Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. A talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me through benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcasts. People of Distinction is internationally syndicated solely due to the love and support that you all continue to give. We're available across all major distributors, and as long as you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. Now sit back and strap in, because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Annessa Meader. And we're going to be discussing her incredible book, Rest for the Depths. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble. Man, trust me when I tell you it's a lot of other places, but most importantly, check out her personal website, and that's the number 4:13ministry.org. There, find more information on her, more information on her fantastic books. You're going to be able to purchase it through the website. I'm telling you, it's where you got to check out 4:13ministry.org. And I want to quickly take this opportunity and point out the fact that Annessa was brought to us by Citi of Books. So if you've gone through your process creating your book and now you need some assistance moving it, head on over to citiofbooks.com and gather all of the ways that their fantastic team is going to help you do just that. And listen, it is an absolute pleasure to have Annessa here on the line. People, have you ever felt like your past is a weight that is dragging you under? Like the voices in your head are constantly whispering how you'll never break free? Yeah, man, listen, join the club, right? Who hasn't? If you have, this is the book for you, okay? Rest for the Depths. It doesn't just offer a lifeline, okay? Annessa hands you the key to your own chains. She reveals how the darkest waters can become the very place where grace pulls you into the light. People, trust me when I tell you, man, this isn't your typical just pray harder spirituality. It is a raw, redemptive journey into the heart of what it means to truly be free. And listen, man, today we are going to dive deep. We are going to uncover how to silence the lies, how to embrace rest, and step into a future that's unshackled from shame, from guilt, from doubt, from whatever negative force is weighing you down. So if you've ever wondered whether grace is really for you, listen, I got news for you, man. Sit back, strap in, get ready, because this conversation might just change everything for you. Yeah, it's about to be a fantastic education. Here we go. Annessa, first and foremost, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. Annessa, so often I ask people how they're doing, and nobody ever asks me how I'm doing. This is going to be a fantastic show.
What?
I can tell. Believe it, girl. It happens all the time. It's crazy to me. I don't understand. It's just common. It's just common, cordial behavior. Anyways, I'm doing fantastic, and I thank you very much for asking. But
yeah, thank you.
Listen, joking aside, Annessa, honestly, man, your book is something that I think a lot of people need. You're talking about something that I think is so universal, something that a lot of people battle with, myself included. Who amongst us hasn't been there, where we are just almost being buried with pressure of life, but also those voices in our head that can really be something. It reminds me of the adage, like we are our own worst critic. And I believe it to be true because there's been some times, man, where I'm my toughest obstacle. And your book is really going to offer a lifeline. So thank you for writing it. Thank you for being here with us. And
thank you.
We're looking forward to it. Listen, I always start with the background. And I guess that's a good place to start, just to offer a foundation. Let's go there because I have a lot of questions pertaining to the book, but I'm going to hold off. Tell us more about yourself.
I guess there's not much to know about me. I grew up in Washington, Iowa. I'm a nanny currently. I've been teaching either like children's church or Sunday school or helping with the youth group for 10 years now. So it's been a lot of fun being active in ministry and stuff.
Listen, that's a great place to start because when you look at the subject matter of the book, you're just talking about what you know. This is where you live and breathe. So let's dive in, okay? I love your title. And there's something that is profound about it because, listen, rest for the depths. And depth is really the word that when we were prepping for today's interview, that's the one that I thought really stuck out to me. And I think it's interesting that you're arguing that it suggests that the true rest is found in the depth, not in the shallows. And what's interesting about that is I can't help but then ask the question, like, why do you think that grace becomes most visible when we're in our lowest moments?
So have a flashlight, right? When you turn it on in the light, like you can't really see it that well. But then the darker that you bring a flashlight, the more brighter it shines. And I feel like God's grace does that for all of us too. It just gives us a big hug. The darker and darker that we go, it just shines brighter and brighter.
Love that. That's a good analogy with the flashlight there. This is a beautiful thing. Let's go into inspiration here. And okay, I can see, given your background, where this became a particular interest to you. But let's start off there at the journey, where this all started for you. And then what was that switch, right? To take it not only for something that you utilized for yourself, but you wanted to put out for the world.
Yeah. When I was 20, I felt called. I felt like God had called me to go live in New York City. And so I moved out there with my best friend at the time. And when I was there was a month that I didn't have a job. Like I couldn't find one. Yeah. And I was sitting there and I was just like studying my Bible. And I was like, what is going on? What am I supposed to be gleaning from this process that I'm going in right now? And as I lived there for a full year, and as I was living there, I started writing my first book, 413. And as soon as I finished that one, Rest for the Depths came to my brain. But I don't know, it took me a little while to actually write it, to be honest. Mostly because it's a hard topic. Yeah. And as I was writing it, I was learning as I was writing it, learning it and then writing about it. That was a whole process. And as I was writing it, I just felt like I was supposed to be sharing this with people so that they could be being set free as I was being set free.
Okay. So that's an interesting connection here. Let's follow that a little bit more. Would it be fair to say, or to assume rather, that as you were writing the book, it was almost like a therapeutic process that you were utilizing to help you overcome certain doubts and fears yourself?
Yeah, it was definitely different lessons that I felt like God had been showing me and that I felt like he was wanting me to include in this book. Because I think it has to be real in order for people to really grasp onto it.
Yeah. Okay. So continuing along that line, let's now utilize in a way of being, I guess, of viewing others, but also trying to pay it forward in a way through the analysis. Again, sticking with the notion of the depths, really going deep, because that's really what your book is, right? It's an invitation to dive into the depths. When you do that, right, it implies that healing requires facing pain head on. And that's something that's by no means is that new, but it is a daunting task. And a lot of people struggle with it, right? And it's so human. And I think that there's power in that analysis. So first and foremost, why do you think that so many people resist going deep?
I think just because it's hard, it brings up so many either like painful memories or regrets or things that they just feel bad about. And it's just really, I don't know, hard. I guess that would be the answer.
People, listen, man, you got to head on over to Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Remember, 4:13ministry.org. While you're there, look into her other book. She just mentioned it a moment ago, 413, A Journey to Strength, a Devotional. I promise you, both of these books are fantastic additions to your shelf because they're really going to help you, dive deep, right? To continue to use that cliche there. We're going to just beat that thing. Continue to go deeper, of course, but really understand the wisdom that's to be found there. And I'm a firm believer, you guys have heard me mention this a number of times in the past, like I really do believe God doesn't place anything on our path that we aren't strong enough to overcome. And now hear me, because in the moment, boy, it doesn't feel like that. You just want to give up. You just want to give in, and you feel like, I'm not strong enough. Jesus, take the wheel. I get that. But there is so much strength to be found, and especially in those moments, by persevering, by continuing to fight and push through. And it really is a great message that these books carry. So again, remember, it starts with Rest for the Depths, but 413, A Journey to Strength, the devotional, is going to be a fantastic addition as well. So much wisdom to be found. Head on over there, pick up your copies today. Annessa, my follow-up now, let's talk about your writing process and your journey through this whole thing. This is obviously something that is very heavily based in your faith. And it was something, as you admitted a little while ago, it almost was birthed through a way of helping you through some of your darker moments. Connecting it back now to your faith, I'm curious to know, was there anything that while you were writing this book that helped maybe even deepen your faith? And if so, what was it? Why did that happen, do you feel? Talk to us about how that might have increased your connection with God.
Ooh, that is such a good question. Paul writes, I don't remember where he writes it in the New Testament, but he writes that we are comforted so that we can comfort others. And I think that one of the lies of the enemy is to make you feel like that you are the only one that, like you're the only one going through this and you're the only one in the depths, whatever your depths are, like, you're stuck there, that you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And I think as I was learning that there is something we can do about it, we're not alone. There's so many people here on this earth that God has given us to have fellowship with one another. And I just really felt not only was I comforted the more that I studied scriptures and the more that these answers came and questions and prayers, that I felt really led to comfort others through that as well.
It's interesting that you brought up Paul, because I think there's a wonderful connection here that can be found. Because, listen, Paul wrote, "When I am weak, then I am strong." And it's such a great line. And again, just connects perfectly to your book. And I think it's going to cover points that we've already started to go into. But again, bringing Paul into this equation, I want to ask, how does his embrace of weakness challenge our obsession really with self-sufficiency, making that connection? And again, since you introduced Paul into the conversation, how could his story and his words impact you or help build you up or strengthen you, and then connecting that out?
Yeah, you look at Paul and everything that he did for the Gospels and everything, and you're just like, wow, that was such a strong individual. And then the more that you read and study what he wrote, the more that he was like, I'm too weak for this, or I'm not good enough for this. And I think that's such a good lesson, because our feelings are not above our faith. Our faith is above our feeling. And so it's a good reminder that we could feel scared, or we are unqualified, or could be unqualified, or all this, and God still chooses to use it, which I think is such a blessing, such a cool thing that he did.
Annessa, as we start to close out of here, let's go back to that 20-year-old Annessa going on that journey, right? And trying to figure things out. If you had an opportunity to step into a time machine and you could go back and you could speak to her, what would be a message? What would be some advice that you would give her as you began on this journey?
I probably would be not to doubt so much. I second guessed so much about writing the first book, and then 100% with the second book. It took me a full year to even start writing the second one. But just to trust that God is his sovereignty, he knows all, and I'm not going to mess that up because I'm not that powerful. He is.
Okay, listen, final question, and it's going to branch off in a very similar way to offering advice to a younger self. If you could sit down with someone who's listening in right now and listen, they feel like they're too broken, they feel like they're too far gone for any type of saving grace, what would you want to tell them? What are some words of wisdom that you could help them through this moment of uncertainty?
I guess I would let them know that they are so loved, not only by the Creator, but by the Savior, who literally came down to earth just to die on a cross so that we could forever be with him. We matter that much. And
Absolutely.
There's no circumstance or nothing that we've done that can separate us from him and Jesus. So I would just tell them to I don't know, just keep holding on, just keep praying because they can do this.
Honestly, I think you say you don't know, but Annessa, I think that you do. Okay? Because I think what you just said is profound. And that's what faith is. You don't have to have the answer in the moment. It's that belief. And continuing to push forward. There's so much strength in that. People, listen, we've barely scratched the surface here. But that tip of the iceberg that we've discussed here today, my goodness, is monumental. And if this conversation, if it hit deep, then just imagine what's going to happen when you truly dive in. When you run and you pick up the book, Rest for the Depths, and you embrace it for what it is, for that lifeline, for that invitation to walk closer with God that it is, and to put your fears in Him, the amount of security that you're going to feel is a beautiful thing. I'm going to say it again. I know I don't have to, but listen, it's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, 4:13ministry.org. You got to pick up copies today. And remember, Rest for the Depths is just the beginning. Technically, it was the second book that she wrote, but that was the anchor for today. So it's just the beginning. After you've completed that one, you got to check out the other one. 4:13, A Journey to Strength, a devotional. Start your journey. And listen, I say start your journey, but a lot of you may already be on this journey. So continue the journey for those of you that have already been traveling. Allow these books to be the companion that they're meant to be, and to really continue to assist you on that journey. Allow it to be the catalyst for change in your life, because I promise you there is no other option once you pick it up. It's going to do just that. So you know where to go. Pick up your copies today. And again, you got Annessa Meader to thank for all of it, man. So let's get it going. Annessa, this has been an absolute pleasure. Such an honor. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So thank you.